We begin with our media partners from the voiceofoc.org for an update on what's happening this week in Orange County government and politics.
Here to talk about issues in the news right now, we welcome the editor-in-chief for Voice of OC, Norberto Santana. Norberto, when let's get going on your first topic here. What is it, Trabuco development that we need to launch into?
Indeed, when the Orange County Supervisors last year approved Trabuco Canyon development, activists called them out and said that they had done it with the faulty environmental study and also connected a large amount of campaign contributions they had received from the developers' backers. Now a judge seems to agree. Canyon activists warned them that this would happen. They would go to court and win, and this month that's exactly what happened. Orange County Superior Court judge ruled that the approval was completely illegal. The ruling, which was issued last week by Judge Stephen Perk, declared that the county completely failed to comply with the California Environmental Quality Act, known as CEQA, with state land use law and with the county's own land use development plans. Development at this Saddle Crest site has been hotly contested for more than a decade, with the Irvine-based Rudder Development Corporation trying to put housing there and conservationists arguing that it would damage the pristine wilderness and the area's rural character. The latest project proposed putting up 65 homes on a section of San Diego Canyon Road, just north of Cook's Corner. Judge Perk sided with the activists in ruling that the county made illegal changes to that plan, which is specifically designed to preserve the rural character of that area. Now, this judge wrote that the specific plan amendments that the supervisors approved were completely inconsistent with the general plan and the Foothill Trabuco specific plans, goals to manage and preserve mature oak trees in that area, natural open space, and grading limits and lot size. The development in question, the judge wrote, reduced open space to less than 50% of the whole area, and it permitted a tenfold increase in the amount of grading. Now, Rudder Development Corporation and others interested in the project have given at least $17,000 in campaign contributions to county supervisors, according to the county's own tallies.
Okay, now this week an Orange County Superior Court judge set a March 17th trial date for a lawsuit that claims Anaheim's at-large city council elections violate the California Voting Rights Act. Norberto, now setting a date for the trial is something that Anaheim city leaders have been trying to avoid. What happened?
Indeed, the American Civil Liberties Union lawsuit filed on behalf of Latino activists in that city argues that the city's at-large council elections disenfranchise Latino voters systematically by giving people in wealthy and mostly white neighborhoods much more voting power than Latinos, who do constitute 53% of the city's residents. Now, as a result, that suit asserts that the city council's all-white and relatively affluent members do steer more resources to wealthier communities at the expense of poorer Latino communities. Now, opponents of district elections argue that that kind of a system will balkanize the entire city and lead to tough battles over city resources. Now, they assert that the at-large election system actually grants people, no matter where they come from, more representation because the elections are done by districts. Now, districts seem to be better because residents can elect every single council member from their area. Now, the council ultimately approved residency-based districts under which council candidates can be required to live in the certain areas of the city, but they still get elected from at-large votes. Now, voters in the June 2014 primary will decide whether to make residency requirements part of the city charter and whether the current 5-member council should be expanded to 6 and a popularly elected mayor. Now, there had been worry from activists that the city would successfully delay this case until after the 2014 general election, but ACLU attorney Robert Rubin told us that a March trial date should allow enough time to institute district elections if they win.
All right. Now, Norberto, also this week, a $134 million computer contract with Xerox blew up in spectacular fashion after county supervisors took the company to task for tacking on nearly $27 million in new charges even before it had even been approved. What's that all about?
Yeah, these computer contracts and the tons of lobbyist cash that's been steered to county supervisors have been in play for many, many years. At one point, Xerox, which holds the current computer contract at the county, threatened to pull its current IT support for the entire county over the issue. That drew heated protests from supervisors and may have ultimately killed the entire relationship. Now, cost overruns on IT projects at the county have been a really sensitive topic for years. We've done a lot of reporting on this topic, as one company after another would come in with a very low bid and then very quickly start processing change orders as the costs would spiral. Now this year, Supervisors Chairman Sean Nelson told Xerox that era has officially come to an end. We talked to him after he led opposition to the contract this week. Here's what he told us.
I hope the attitude is, if you're going to deal with the County of Orange, you're going to give us an honest price, you better give us one you intend to stick with, and don't think you're coming around here asking for an increase just because you were lower than the other bidder.
How tricky are these IT contracts for you? It seems like almost every week we have a different sort of blow up.
I think it's endemic in the IT industry because as opposed to building a bridge where we can all see if the steel and the concrete have been dropped off and when the bridge is halfway, like these IT contracts are very difficult to understand what was bid, how much of the work actually has been done. I think we deserve some clear answers as to what this is going to cost for good, and are we going to get what we're paying for?
Moving forward, supervisors now say they'll go back to other bidders, and they may even consider whether to keep many of these services with county workers.
Very good.
Okay, thank you very much, Norberto. For more on these stories and other political news throughout Orange County, go to voiceofoc.org.